me, mister, do you have the time? Are you so important that it stands still for you? Excuse me, mister, lend me your ear.
Hello, Anthony. Welcome to I Ask You. It seems that I keep discovering martial arts practitioners among Afro teachers. You're yet another one, aren't you?
Hi Chu, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to answer your questions. I'm not really a martial arts practitioner, but I have tried an awful lot of them in my time. I suppose I started when I was a kid. My father tried to teach me boxing, and I wish I'd kept that up because I actually did enjoy it. And a little later on I tried karate, Shotokan karate, and another style I can't remember the name of right now. After that I also tried Kung Fu, and I also had 1 or 2 classes in Muay Thai with a 6'6" friend of mine who swiftly informed me that I was far too small to even consider getting in the ring there, and I took his advice. So I've tried quite a few martial arts, but I haven't mastered any of them, far from it. And I suppose the only martial art that I've become really proficient in is fencing.
You must be the only person I know who's a fencer. How did this come about?
I suppose I got into fencing when I was a child. I was always a big fan of the Zorro TV show, you might remember it. And I also loved, of course, the Errol Flynn movies, Robin Hood, Master of Ballantrae, the Seahawk, and so on. I loved watching them. The swashbucklers were brilliant. And I remember now thinking back that when I was a kid, I always had more swords than guns, you know, the boys typically have. I had got through so many plastic Crusader swords and Zorro rapiers and lightsabers, and God knows I beat everything with them, and I never quite grew out of it. Then, you know, grew up a little bit, but while I was in my final year at high school, I decided to finally just go somewhere and learn it. And I grew up in a part of London where fencing was hardly the sport. It was football or it was nothing. So I had to go halfway across London every couple of days to have lessons with a great coach down in Chelsea called Jeff Tonks. Then when I got to university, I started training with a UK national fencer, Charity Smith, who was a wonderful teacher. And then I worked with a series of great coaches, their competence much greater than my ability, although I did end up representing my university at national level at the university, and I won college colours. I also trained to be a coach. I worked my way up to be a county level coach, and I've worked with everyone from children up to junior national team members. And at the moment I do very little fencing because the training times clash with my work, or rather my work clashes with training times. But I did manage to win a couple of years ago the county senior, or kind of old age pensioners championship in foil and épée in my year group, because I'm now officially a senior or veteran now that I'm older than 36. So that's something, at least. I've matured late, you might say.
So tell me, your sources of inspiration, the people who inspired you onto the path of ELT, were a couple of teachers when you were at the age of 11, at the tender age of 11 or 12, isn't that right? Tell me, what did they do wrong?
Yeah, my English teachers, there are 2 English teachers very early on that were great formative experiences, each in their way for me. First one was a man called Mr. Lyons, and he is still one of my top 3 teachers. I only had him for 1 term at school, and in that time he taught me 2 very important things. One was a love of language and linguistics. He was the first teacher that dealt with English as a system with us as 11-year-olds. And he also was very interested in getting us to write and getting us to write about things that we enjoyed, that thrilled us. So I remember writing kind of film noir type thriller stories and science fiction and things like that. And he always encouraged it and praised us, but also was very, very critical in a constructive manner, and encouraged us to really push our limits and to read widely. And I think that helped me a lot later on. And the teacher that followed him was also formative in her way. She was the teacher that I didn't like very much. Her name was Miss Pancrase. And what disturbed me at the time was a real zeal she had to kind of infuse us with some kind of political activism. She was very much into human rights and sex equality and so on, and this ran through her lessons like a very, very clear vein. And of course, as an 11-year-old boy in a single-sex Catholic school in North London, you're really not that interested in that kind of thing. But as the years have gone on, I've realised that that was very much a slow release experience for me, and now I'm extremely grateful for the fact that I experienced that woman at that time of my life, because looking back, my politics, my view on life, my attitudes, my ethics, my morals have all been very deeply shaped by the messages that I was exposed to then.
What made you move to Germany? Why not somewhere warmer?
Why did I move to Germany? And why not somewhere warmer? Well, when your partner is living in Germany and you get fed up of flying back and forth and paying British Airways or Lufthansa for the privilege of seeing your partner and having a relationship, then you take the cold climate on the chin, as it were, and that's how I ended up in Germany.
Ha! I knew there must be some kind of non-educational factor involved. Okay, you read, you write, you teach, you do the conference circuit. How do you manage to juggle them?
Got you make it sound like I do an awful lot, and I feel like I do hardly anything in comparison with some people. For example, you, with 4 blogs. The answer, how do I manage to juggle those things, writing, reading, conferences, teaching, and so on? I think I manage it very badly, actually, when it comes down to it. I don't read as much as I'd really like to. I don't write as frequently or as well as I think I'd like to. I certainly don't go to as many conferences as I'd like to. I've managed 2 this year. IATEFL in Harrogate, which was, in Brighton this year, was a great experience. And I just got back from the ETAS SIG Day in Switzerland. The National Teachers Association there had a wonderful conference, and I was presenting a couple of talks there, and I finally got to see Ken Wilson presenting. That was a great experience, and I wish that I'd managed to see more of the talks there, because the program was just spectacular. And I'm really hoping to be able to go again next year. I'd love to get to TESOL France one time, but I just haven't managed it. I'm really very, very poorly organised in that respect. And as for teaching, yeah, that occupies most of my time. And when you add to it a 90-minute each way commute from Lübeck, where I live, to Hamburg, where I work, it means that what suffers is things like, tidying the house and and things like that. I really wish I was better organised, and I wish I was more productive, but I'm simply not. But thank you anyway.
You are currently one of the most high-profile dogma evangelists. What got you into it?